Here we go! Here we go! 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 Whoa! 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 Here we go! Slanjava! Welcome to Whiskey and Synths, everyone. This is the channel that's dedicated to whiskey drinking and music making. So my name's Dave, and today I'm going to be showing you the easiest way to hack one of these guys, a Nintendo 64 controller, to play music on. And this is the perfect day to do it, because on the day of filming this, it's Super Mario's 35th birthday! Woo-hoo! Worst Mario impression ever, but anyway. So I'm really excited to show you how to do it. Let's jump into some of the details and get going. So you might think, Dave, why bother hacking one of these to play music on? What's it all about? Why would you even bother doing that? Well, the story goes, I was making up my live set for doing live electronic music, doing loads of research, and there's this guy called Kink that I love. He's an amazing, maybe one of the best in the world ever at electronic music in a live setting. So he always had gadgets, like he had a Novation controller that when you moved it, it controlled effects and filters and lifted it up, or even had once of this kind of a little bit kind of funny ring that sent MIDI data wirelessly to control the sound. And having these visual elements really made the show more engaging to the audience. A lot of people who don't know how electronic music works in that kind of live way, sometimes they're like, oh, does he just press play and that's it? We had all these things that helped show I'm actually doing something up here, I'm creating this music on the fly. And I wanted to do something like that. And I was like, well, I've got one of these, maybe I can use it. And check it out. I originally got it to play N64 emulators on my computer. So this is actually off Amazon, or other sellers are available. But you can get these online, and they've got a USB built in already. So connectivity is easy, and they're like £10 or something, not expensive. So I thought if I could get this to work with Ableton or another DAW, that'd be genius, yes. Now, some reasons I thought it would be cool are because it's a really eye-catching device. You know, everyone's seen one of these. If you are too young to remember them, you've probably seen pictures of them, old retro game controllers. This is a Nintendo 64 one. They're also really kind of easy to hold up and show people when you're on stage as well. Also for me, I grew up playing these with my brother James Maitland, who's also got a channel. If you love synths, you should check out his channel, I'll link it. And we grew up playing Nintendo on this exact console, N64. So I am so used to the layout of this, it's almost like second nature. I can play it with my eyes closed. So it's like a musical instrument I'm already trained in. And like I said before, they're cheap and robust. This one has been used loads. It's even held together with duct tape on the cable a little bit there, or lecky tape, making sure there's no exposed wires, but really robust. So if you're going to play loads of gigs, chuck it in a bag, works fine. Now, I have spent ages trying to figure out how to hack this, so it's really difficult. I've watched so many hours of YouTube videos, like, how am I supposed to do this? So I put a thing up on Instagram saying, I will hack this if it's the last thing I do. And luckily, my mate from back in school, Stick, that is his real name, I'm pretty sure, Stick got in touch and he told me a way of hacking this. So I'm a little bit nervous, hopefully it works. I'm excited to show you guys. So let's get into all the details. How do we actually get this hacked? What do we have to do? Let's jump into Ableton, jump on the computer and have a look at it. And remember, if you love this video about how to hack a Nintendo controller and it helps you, drop a comment, hit subscribe, hit the bell button, and that'll help get you tuned in to other Whiskey and Synths videos that we've got. We've got loads of our tutorials and some fun videos that you're going to enjoy. If you love synths and drinking, you're in the right place. So everyone, like I said, I struggled to get this to send MIDI signals to Ableton. So my friend Stick sent me a little hack way of doing it. Now you might know already that Ableton is already key mapped, and I'll show you that in a second. And our quick way of controlling Ableton with this is to use this guy, send its information down the USB cord to a little plugin called Joy2Key, okay? That's on Windows, but there's other versions that do a similar thing on Mac. But Joy to Key is going to take the signals from the buttons I press on this, and it's going to map them to the computer's keyboard, which is already mapped in Ableton, and you can add custom mappings as well. So when I press a button on this, signal goes to Joy to Key, which then tells the computer to press a keyboard button virtually, and then that triggers the thing in Ableton. So it's the easiest way to hack one of these guys for making music on. Let's take a look at the actual keys and how they're mapped on Ableton right now. So there's something in Ableton, and I think in other DAWs, that we can use to our advantage. It's already key mapped an octave across the keyboard here. We've got 15 buttons we can access along the row from A and along and Q and along. And if I arm a bass synthesizer, I can just play it. And that actually goes from C1 to D2 across the keyboard. So that's 15 different notes already key mapped. You've got these buttons Z and X that are key mapped already as well. They can go down an octave if you press Z, or up an octave if you press X. So these are already key mapped, and we are going to sync up our Nintendo controller with these keys. Another thing that Ableton's got is you can actually key map custom keys yourself by hitting the key button there. I've already key mapped this drum rack. If I press play, you'll hear the drum beat, and then when I press 1, you'll hear the effects rack taking control. And you can control drums as well. If I go and arm the track here, that is the drum rack, is a 909, and I get the right octave for it. Yeah, that's it. It's already key mapped to all these drums. So we're gonna take our Nintendo controller and map it to the keyboard, then we don't even need to mess with MIDI. So like you just saw, there are 15 keys mapped on Ableton already that let you control notes on different drum racks or synths in Ableton, but also you can key map loads of buttons as well to customize it yourself. But you know, it depends what controller you've got. This has only got 14 buttons on it, so I'm gonna have to make a plan. What do I want those buttons to do? So let's get the pen and paper out, do a little diagram. So everyone, like I said, you've got to have a little system of how you're going to map these buttons to the corresponding buttons on your computer's keyboard. So I've done a little drawing. I don't know if you can see that well. Oh, there you go. Terrible, weird, Willy-like drawing of a Nintendo 64 controller. But I've put all the letters to match the buttons on this. Now you don't have to do it exact same way as I have, but what I've thought is I'd quite like the up and down buttons on the D-pad to control the octave, so they match Z and X on my diagram. I've also wanting the big Z button, the trigger button, that to maybe that be the trigger that kind of puts on or off a really crazy effects rack. So I'm actually going to map that to number 1 on my computer's keypad, and then in Ableton key map that to the trigger button. Also, I thought the big red button, of course, that should be stop record, shouldn't it? So I'm going to key map the number 2 to stop record in Ableton, and then match it to this. And then the other ones, I've just mapped them to the buttons on the computer keyboard that are already pre-mapped in Ableton. And my plan is, yeah, you'll be able to play synthesizers on it a little bit, but this will be better used with a custom drum rack that I'm going to drag and drop my own samples into. That's my plan. Anyway, here it is again if you want a closer look. And what I'd suggest is you do it your own way, but feel free to copy my way as well. So let's get it set up in Ableton. So everyone, that's me loaded up Joy to Key just there. Let's have a look at it and how we can map the controller to it. Now in Joy to Key, you can see how it has on the left hand side, you can have different profiles if you want to, which is kind of cool. I've just set up a new demo one to show you guys, but you can have different profiles for different things you want to use the controller for, which is awesome. So maybe one set to do beats, one set to do melodies, it just depends. Now I'm going to do a new one. I'm going to set it up as per my drawing that I showed you guys earlier. So I'm just going to start with the shoulder buttons,
And as part of my drawing, I said I wanted that to be button A on my keyboard. So I'm gonna find out where it is. It's on joystick 1. It's lighting up yellow, it says button 7. Double click that. It's gonna type in the letter A, click OK, that's assigned. Next shoulder button, oh yeah, there it's button 8. Double click it. I said I want that to be W, it's assigned, okay? And I'm gonna go through them all like this. Let's do the D-pad. This button here, I can go up, double click that, and assign that to the letter S like I wanted. Click OK, cool. And the other way, I said I want that to be letter E, let's do it. Okay, E, and so on and so forth, and I'll assign the buttons on this controller to the buttons that relate to my keyboard, so that it's going from the controller to joy to key, and I'm telling joy to key what button, when I press that, is it going to activate on the keyboard, and that can activate the sound in Ableton. Now, that's me got all my buttons assigned on this, yes! Now, it should be triggering sounds when I go into Ableton. So if I click to Ableton, let's arm the bass synth, that's square 3 pure bass. We should get some sounds, but we're not. So if you don't get sounds, remember you need to make sure this keyboard button's lit, and that activates Ableton's keyboard that's like this. We got sounds, and depending how you've mapped it, you might have mapped it across the full octave. I haven't done that this time, I'm getting some of the sounds. So let's check out what the drum rack sounds like. Loads of sounds, nice one. Okay, let's see if we can map the number 1 to that effects track we had on the go earlier. So I've hit play on that beat. Okay, hit the Z button, here we go. Yes. And if you don't know how to do a key map in Ableton, it's super easy. You do this, you click key, and you click the button you want it to control. I'll hit that session record button. Okay, I want to map that to the number 2 because I know that's mapped to this button on that. So number 2, it's mapped. Okay, I can click key again to get out of this. Let's arm this track here, okay? And if I hit that big button there, it should start recording because it'll start launching this button. Hit record on this, triggers that, we'll be ready to go. Let's see. Yeah, let's record in. Hit stop. Stops the recording. And then obviously I'm going to quantize that. Now, what I love to do the most is actually get a blank drum rack, drop it in, fill it with my favorite samples on where this guy plays. So let's do that. I'm going to go to instruments, drum rack, drag it into the space, got an empty drum rack. Let's arm it. And when I press the buttons on my controller, you can see the little squares that light up yellow. They correspond to the buttons I am pressing. So all I need to do is say I want on the shoulder button of this to be a kick and that one to be a snare. That's quite nice, you go kick, snare, good for finger drumming. So hold down the shoulder button. You see it's yellow there, C1. All I need to do is go find a kick in my packs. So I'll just go samples, I'll just type in kick, search for one, drum hits. Let's get, oh actually I got a Lego Welt. Shout out to Lego Welt, he's got loads of good sample packs for free. One of my favourite producers ever, give him a shout out. But jump into there and get a cool kick. Oh, that is nice, that is nice. This is his new Electride pack, so let's see if we can get a snare out of this as well. Snare, drop that in. Lego Welt, oh loads. Drop that into, where are we dropping it though? Hold down the other shoulder button, C. There, you see it lights up when I do that. Let's check out, press that, press it down, yellow light there, drop it in. Now you can go. The snare sound needs adjusted. Nice one. So I'm going to fill up my drum rack with cool sounds. You can even add cool pad sounds like this one here. It's going to drag it onto this button. So drag it on. Okay. I'm going to shorten the sample. I'm going to give it a bit of a fade out like that. And let's play it. Let's see. Maybe make it a bit shorter. Bit shorter. Maybe even a bit shorter. That'd be cool. So I've got that pad sound. What would be cool if it was repitched on the other button? So I can just control click and drag that one across, then pitch the second one up, maybe by like 2 or 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps maybe. Let's see. So I like doing stuff like that, adding pads in as well. Now eventually you can create a whole drum rack filled with sounds, map it to this, and you have loads of cool sounds in it. I've stolen some from Kraftwerk in this, some from sample packs, but check it out.
Hey everyone, now we've got the Nintendo controller set up, why don't we try out in a live electronic music setting? I'm going to use it to control the samples, Mario ones and other ones you heard earlier. I've got the Novation circuit doing some beats in the background, and also I've got the Korg monologue running a kind of bass line in the background as well. So let's hit play and have a little jam.
Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Whoa! 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 Here we go!
So everyone, hope you enjoyed that tutorial how to hack a Nintendo controller or any game controller the easiest way by key mapping it in Ableton. There are other ways to do this. This is probably the easiest way, but if anyone can figure out how to MIDI map this, you might have more controls that you could be like doing filter sweeps with this analog stick or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. And I had a little bit of latency, but once I switched my sound card settings around, that was okay. I thought initially, is it because it's a bit jammed up, the cable not in the best condition, and this has been used a lot on tour, but it's still very robust, it's still going fine. So I think setting the sound card worked for me. And yeah, just it's fun to have a go of. It's a cool tool to have, and I recommend using it as a MIDI controller, or kind of MIDI controller. This is the easiest way to set it up. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to Stick, who showed me how to do this and designed the Whisky and Synths animated logo. What a legend. And keep an eye out for our other videos. We do a new video every 2 weeks, so every second Saturday is a new Whisky and Synths video. Sometimes it's interviews, sometimes it's tutorials, sometimes for beginners, sometimes it's like fun, crazy stuff like this, or soon I'll be sampling my oven to make a track out of it. Soon I'll be making a track only out of my dog, Louie, his sounds. And also, I was thinking of doing a full video on can I make a track only using the Yamaha PSX 390, a sort of really old 80s kind of keyboard, and some challenges like that. So stay tuned. If you like this, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Massive appreciation. Give us some tips in the comments if you know how to hack this as a MIDI controller rather than just key mapping it. Let me know, I'd love to know that, and we can all share that. So thanks for being a member of the Whisky and Synths clan. You are in now. Proud to have you here. Enjoy your synths, enjoy your whiskey, slange your everyone. I've finished mine, but have a great time yourself. Cheers!